with my bum ass hairline in Wayne, Michigan. How you guys doing? It is Accountability 007, aka formerly known as Versace Vince. Although I no longer own a pair of Versace. Well, I do still own a pair of Versace's, but Versace. But I ain't wearing them currently. So right now I am Ray-Ban Vince. How's everybody doing? Long time no talk. So my account got striked about 2 weeks ago when I posted the what up, Low Dimes 8775. Sup? Oh, not much, big dog. Just won my motion to terminate probation yesterday. Also won my motion to the sign lawsuit. So let me start. Let me back up a little bit. So yesterday, I had a motion to terminate probation heard by the 35th District Court, Judge Plakas. The city of Wayne, as you guys probably know, they were trying to violate this unlawfully imposed probation, and they were trying to violate me because they claimed that I did not enter into mental health treatment within 72 hours, even though I clearly did, and I sent that proof of it. But the city of Wayne, you know, as you guys know, they're trying to censor me and my First Amendment speech. And so after their city council meeting on, I believe it was the 15th, around December 15th or so, they decided that they were going to try to violate my probation to get me, I guess, locked back up. And so I filed a motion to terminate the probation, and I showed the judge that it's real funny that I got prosecuted under a policy, an open burn policy that they called an ordinance. And then as soon as I was sentenced to probation, I was forced into probation. I was forced into a plea because they were going to keep me in jail for another 2 months past the maximum allowable sentence, right? Totally illegal. And I brought up the fact that the city of Wayne had passed Ordinance 2025-02. They actually proposed it a day after I was released from jail. So the judge thought that that was interesting, that, you know, they claimed that I was violating some sort of ordinance, and then keep fucking up, Wayne. We will merge you with Inkster. Yeah, I mean, at this point, guys, you know, that'd be a great thing. Unfortunately, the problem with Inkster is it does not technically border the city of Wayne, you know, because you have a little pigtail. Westland, Michigan kind of divides Wayne and Inkster. But I suppose that could be worked out, right? You know, that's just a logistical issue. But yeah, that would be a little bit more challenging. But Inkster would probably make the most sense. I think culturally, they're probably the most similar, demographically probably as well at this point. But no, I've never had a problem with Inkster. I've never had a problem with Inkster's government. They've always been helpful, courteous, and polite. So that's not a bad idea, Inkster and Wayne merging together. But I think realistically, Romulus or Westland is more likely, probably with Westland being the most likely. Although I don't know if Westland would want to take the city of Wayne with all their problems. I'm not so sure that they would go for that. I mean, I understand Westland already has Shacktown, Norwayne. You know, so really, what's the difference between Norwayne and Wayne? Really none. But I don't know. That's it's tough, right? To annex land from one municipality to another is, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it is very, very, very difficult. And so I am only one person, obviously, with one finite life and finite resources. And so I think my time would be better utilized holding the city of Wayne accountable. But hopefully, as a side effect of that, once these lawsuits start to be heard and play out, hopefully that that'll kind of force the issue, right, a little bit. People will start asking questions and, hey, what can we go to a different municipality? Which of course you can, but the taxpayers obviously have to support it. But yeah, I think it's a matter of time for the city of Wayne. But yeah, they lost their motion, or they lost their, they filed a motion to violate my probation. We had the hearing yesterday. I filed a motion to terminate the probation, stating that, well, there was no codified ordinance on May 9th. How do I know that? Well, because the city of Wayne aren't very smart, and they decided to pass an ordinance a day or week after I got out of jail. So the judge thought that was awfully peculiar and awfully suspicious. He actually said it was offensive, which surprised me. So basically, the judge tried to kind of cover his own butt by kind of claiming that, the city of Wayne kind of threw this case at him. He's not really involved with it. And, but once he had found out, well, the city of Wayne actually passed a codified burn ordinance just within days of me being released from jail. He thought that was germane, right? He thought that was a germane fact to deploy. And he wasn't very happy about that. And the city of Wayne had zero response to it. Actually, as a matter of fact, I filed a 7-page motion with the 35th District Court. And I actually have the city of Wayne's response to that, which is quite comical. So basically, the city of Wayne went into turtle shell mode, I guess, if you will. So their response was basically, he was not charged with any fire code violation, but rather interfering with police or fire, right? So they refused to talk about, well, why were they on my property on May 9th? They refused to elaborate on that. And so it was a very easy decision for the judge to make. But basically, it looks like the city of Wayne is trying to go into damage control right now, because obviously they don't want a plethora of lawsuits, and they know at this point whatever they say can and will be used against them. The cat's out of the bag. The senior chief judge of the 35th District Court, James Plakas, he saw right through the bullshit, and he said, in the interest of justice, he must terminate my probation. Now, he did not terminate the charges, the no contest to the disorderly conduct and to the resisting arrest. So those charges are still on my record. So I do have to appeal that to the circuit court and see what they say about that. But I mean, essentially, I wish the judge would have went all out, but I can't control what other people do. But he made the right decision. I mean, there was no codified ordinance, so therefore it was legally impossible that there was probable cause that a crime was being committed. So therefore there was no lawful basis to be on the property whatsoever. And that alone should be able to allow the circuit court to reverse and to dispose of those convictions, if you will, right? So either way, it doesn't really matter. As far as civil litigation goes, the 1983 Monell is still being drafted and is still being pursued. Although the January 9th incident, I haven't really publicly spoken about this too much, but on January 9th, I posted the video where the police department said that they were going to go onto my property to piss me off. Actually, their exact quote is, this is from the fire captain on January 9th. I kind of want to go down there and be like, this is fine. But just to piss them off that we're going down there. That's the only reason I want to go. So that, you couldn't get a more damning confession than that, guys. I mean, that's the case right there. So I don't envision that the city of Wayne is going to want to take this to trial based on that statement, as well as just the facts of the case, right? So 5 warrantless break-ins. We have a judge now that is acknowledged that there was no probable cause for May 9th to be on the property, that this policy is not a law. And now the city of Wayne actually has a law. So they actually kind of hurt themselves, because what they did was they admitted that by them passing that open burn ordinance, they admitted that they didn't have one previously. Because why would you pass a 6-page open burn ordinance 2025-02? Of course, only when I got out of jail, of course. But why would you pass that if you already had a enforceable policy or an enforceable ordinance, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So thank you, 35th District Court, for finally upholding my rights, although it shouldn't have taken, 6 months or whatever. But the judge, of course, still blamed me and said, I was basically, it was my fault that I was in jail and all this and that, and didn't really want to blame my previous defense counsel, Jermaine Warwick and William Mays. Didn't seem interested in that. So, obviously he made the right decision, but, he didn't want to go all out with it. So, because he's implicated in it, the judge is, because he presides, he's proceeding over the case. So, whether he was duped or not, really doesn't matter. The bottom line is who voted for a burn ordinance? Not me. No, nobody voted. See, the city council just tried to pass it and rush it through. Actually, the day after I was released from jail, I think it may have been the same day. I think I was released on a Tuesday, on the 3rd or the 2nd of December. But like within hours, right, the next city council meeting, which was I think the same day or the next day I was released, they actually announced this open burn ordinance, right? Of course, they rushed it through. They didn't spend a lot of time talking about it. And they, of course, unanimously agreed to vote on it, right? Which is awfully funny. But that's what they did, right? They thought that they were slick and they were going to, I don't know. Like I said, it's retard logic. It's crackhead, crack whore, meth smoking, dope smoking logic. I mean, there's just no rhyme or reason to why they did it. I guess they thought that, well, shit, we better get an actual open codified burn ordinance on the books for future references. Well, by doing so, they admitted that they didn't have one on May 9th or May 19th or July 5th or July 10th or March 28th of 2024. So that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. That's definitely a big hair in the soup, if you will. So the judge saw right through it. He had no choice but to terminate the probation, although he should have went a step further and imposed sanctions on the city of Wayne for withholding video discovery for months and months and months and months, and just acting in bad faith. But that's what the circuit court's for, right? I guess so. I have to appeal that to the circuit court, and I don't really know where to begin with it, to be honest with you. There's so much diarrhea. There's so much corruption. There's so many improprieties that the city of Wayne conducted against me and my family and during this case. The city, actually, James Plakas, he said he's been on the bench for 17 years. He was a municipal lawyer and he was a former prosecutor. This is the judge we're talking about. This is what he said on the record. I'll get the transcripts maybe one day if they ever release them to me. And I'll upload them, of course, and unredacted, of course, and all that. But essentially, what the judge actually said verbatim, he said he's been on the bench for 17 years, and he's never ever in his life seen a case like this, and that it was injustice, and that he's highly offended by the city of Wayne and their antics and their actions. And I think he said enough there on that transcript that I can use that for future litigation against the city. And then basically, do you concur with this senior district court judge? And usually judges try to concur with each other when they can. So I think that in the long run helps me. I think everything that happened in the long run, obviously spending over 90 days in jail, falsely arrested, falsely imprisoned, no probable cause, no due process. Obviously, that was a traumatic and horrifying and just a nightmare, right? But I also think that it was necessary in the sense that it really demonstrated to the world just the type of people that the city of Wayne, Michigan, the government truly is, right? The people in power. It really demonstrates their lack of humanity. It really demonstrates, and this is something I'm going to use for my campaign too, right? Is like, hey, if they're willing to do this to a disabled veteran with an immigrant wife and an autistic child, what would they do to you, right? Because the whole end game, right, was to try to bankrupt me, try to, make me lose my house, and it didn't work. And then they try to revoke my tax exemption, because basically this is how this works, guys. The city of Wayne has an ordinance or a policy, if you will, that states that if you want to run for public office, you can't be in arrears. You can't be in arrears to the city. So in other words, you can't be behind on your taxes. You can't be behind on your utility bills and that sort of thing. And so basically what the city did was they illegally, retroactively revoked my MCL 211.7B disabled veteran homestead tax exemption. They illegally revoked that and then falsely claimed that I owed them $14,000 in back taxes. They did that because there's no, in their eyes, right, in their mind, it's a win-win situation for them. If they make this erroneous claim and I appeal it to the tax tribunal and for some reason or another the tax tribunal sides with the city of Wayne, well, then they just ran me out of town and, it's a win for them. Well, if they don't, well, until I get to the tax tribunal, this is their strategy, right? One step ahead of you guys. So what they did was they said, well, if we falsely claim that he owes us back taxes, then he can't run for office, you see. So it's a win-win for them, right? They either steal my house from me, right? Force me to sell my house or force, foreclosure of my house, or they get to prevent me from running for office. And so that was the whole reason why they did what they did with the tax situation. So who doesn't owe back taxes? Well, I didn't owe any back taxes because my taxes are zero. And so they said that because I have somebody, so get a load of this, guys. So the city of Wayne has an ordinance that requires you to register your property, your home, as a rental property if you rent it out for money, right? And so, I have a couple people that, live in the house in some of the bedrooms. Essentially, their ordinance requires you to register your property as a rental property. Here, I'll show you guys. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So basically, the whole idea is, right, this is the survey of the property right here. This is the property. This is a 2.79 acre property that I own. But basically, what the city of Wayne wants is they force you to get this rental registration, right? So if you rent out any portion of your house, according to the city ordinance, you have to register your property with the city, right? So they can get their $100 or whatever. And you see registration fee, $100. But what that does is it opens the door for these certificate of occupancy inspections. So every 3 or 4 years, you got to have a certificate of occupancy inspection. These are about $400 or $500. So basically, it's just a money grab, right? But they force you to do it. So of course, I followed the law. So I went and registered my property as a renter or as a rental property, right? Not to negate the fact that I still live there because I've always lived here. But I went down to the city, the building and engineering office, and I said, hey, I would like to register my property as a rental property. I still own and occupy it. And so what they did is they took my money, of course, because, they're crooks. And then they gave me that piece of paper, this piece of paper right here. And in the rental registration paperwork, now get a load of this, guys. In the rental registration paperwork with the city, right, what's filed with the city, under the comment section, right, for this rental registration application, the secretary labeled my property as an owner-occupied boarding house, right? Keyword, owner-occupied, right? So that's in the official documentation with the city of Wayne, with the registration, right? So while I was set in jail back in September, the city decided to retroactively revoke my disabled veteran tax exemption because they said because my property is a rental property, I no longer it's no longer my primary residence, right? So it's a play on words, right? So they took away my primary resident exemption, my homestead exemption, and then they took away my MCL 211.7B, my disabled veteran tax exemption, through the state of Michigan. That's guaranteed through the state of Michigan. So they retroactively revoked it for both years, right? And then claimed that I owed them $14,000 or $15,000 in back taxes or something, sent me a bill. Of course, I appealed it to the Michigan Tax Tribunal. Well, that's going to take several years to even be heard in court. I don't anticipate that the city of Wayne's going to win, and I anticipate that they're going to try to arbitrate it, to basically to do anything other than to have it heard on the record because they don't want that as case law. They definitely don't. So it's just a tactic that they're trying to employ to prevent me from running for office, you see. Now, I'm telling you right now, City of Wayne, I'm going to run for office. I'm going to go get my 25 or my 50 signatures, whatever joke of a fucking process that it is. And then once I do that, then I'm going to file to be on the fucking ballot. And then as soon as you deny me being on the ballot, because you're going to say, oh, well, he's in arrears with the city, he owes us back taxes, you are going to have the biggest federal lawsuit in probably Wayne County history at this point. Because to prevent somebody from holding public office, to prevent somebody from speaking, right, not only on your private property, right, with the sign lawsuit that I'll talk about briefly here. So I filed a sign lawsuit. As you guys know, when I was sitting in jail, I had some signs made, right, 4x8 signs. And I displayed one of them in my front yard. Well, the city came around a couple weeks and said, oh, you got to take that down and you got to pay for a permit. So I sued them. And we had a hearing last week or week before last. I think it was on the, was it the 15th? Not sure when it was, 15th of January. It might have been January, I don't remember. It was a few weeks ago, a week or two ago, whatever it was. Well, I went to my hearing, the preliminary hearing, and the district court judge flat out said basically that under Media Matters and Prime, right, those are the two precedent case laws, Media Matters and Prime, that this permit scheme is unconstitutional. Just as a preliminary review of it, right, of the case, the judge has determined that Prime and Media Matters, that the city of Wayne is in violation of those two case laws. And basically what he said, without saying it, he said basically that the city of Wayne would lose if it went to trial. And so he suggested that the city of Wayne settles, right? So I sent out a settlement offer, and we're waiting to hear back. We'll know next week on it if the city of Wayne's going to accept it. And the reason I'm doing a settlement on this is because, I probably shouldn't, guys. Honestly, I should probably just take everything to trial and force them to, spend money and time and all that. However, I don't want to appear unreasonable, and I think there are much bigger fights to pick here. And basically, I told the city of Wayne, look, I'm going to have as many signs as I want, whatever size I want, whatever content is on the signs. I'm going to have as many signs as I want, and I'm never going to pay for a permit, and you're never going to bother me again. And that's the offer. And if you don't accept that offer, well, then we'll see you in court, and then you'll lose. And then, of course, you'll have to spend all the money to lose, and then it'll be case law. It'll be on the record, and, blah, 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 blah. So I have a feeling that the city of Wayne's probably going to take my offer. If they were smart, they would. However, the judge said, I have no issue taking this to trial. I have zero issue taking this to trial. If the city of Wayne doesn't want to agree to your settlement, then you're just going to you and the prosecutor are going to brief me on Media Matters and Prime, and we'll go from there. So there's really no way for the city of Wayne to win, because they're requiring you to have a permit to have First Amendment speech on your own property. You got to pay for a permit to have a plastic sign in your yard. It's ridiculous, right? But so that's been preliminarily declared unconstitutional by the judge, and so now they're, now they're in the situation where I guess they have to come to an agreement with me, right? And so I'm just asking for my filing fees, and I'm asking for freedom, right, to be able to do what I want to do and not be ever harassed again, because the city of Wayne doesn't want this to be declared unconstitutional, right? They don't want that ordinance to be declared unconstitutional. So I think that, just preliminarily speaking, is probably the better way to go. Although I'm fully prepared to take it to trial, have no issue with that. But I have so many other lawsuits that I have to get to, all the Fourth Amendment violations, all the malicious prosecution, all the intentional infliction of emotional distress, all of that, stuff, right? False imprisonment, 1983 Monell, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So, I got to pick my battles here. I'm only one person. I only have, it's a one-man show here, me and my wife. I guess one man and one woman show. And then, we have two boys now. So, I gotta pick and choose how I want to do this. But, we'll see here. Let's read some of the comments. SF Niner, San Francisco Niner dash Y4B. I refuse to pay income taxes. Haven't paid since 2000. Wow, been 26 years since I last filed taxes. I mean, that's great and all. Definitely, good for you. I would just be careful about, mentioning that. I understand that there are situations where that's completely legal and, all that, but just saying, buddy, it makes it sound a little, so I'd be careful with saying shit like that. But no, good for you, buddy. I'm completely against any sort of taxation. I think all taxation is theft, and it should be outlawed. That's my personal opinion. So, but just be mindful of, you know, goes without saying. Low Dimes 8775. They garnished my wages for what I owed, took the rest from my bank account without me knowing. For taxes, for property taxes, or is that what you're saying for Dimes? Low Dimes, you must have a huge bank account. No, they emptied my account, garnished my wages for the rest. I'm broke. Sorry to hear that, dude. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, these municipalities have way too much power over human beings and taxpayers and residents, and that's the platform, right, guys? The platform this is the platform from day one. We're going to repeal any ordinance that violates the vagueness doctrine. It's repealed, right? Day one, right? So we're gonna have AI algorithms go through every word of the city charter over and over and over again, and we're gonna get a list of all the ordinances that are void for vagueness, and then we're gonna get rid of them. Any ordinance that invites arbitrary enforcement, unfettered discretion, or is confusing and poorly worded, where it doesn't clarify, what conduct is allowed and what conduct isn't allowed. Anything that's ambiguous, anything that's capricious, it's gone, right, from day one. Next thing is to get rid of the fire department. The fire department's only been in Wayne since 2014. It was previously disbanded, and we can do that again. There's only been 2 fires in the city of Wayne in the last 10 or 11 years. Hardly justification to have a full-time fire department. So we can contract that all out to a neighboring municipality, probably Westland, and save taxpayers thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, millions of dollars. Save the taxpayers a tremendous amount of money. And then we can start looking at downsizing the police department, maybe making it basically for traffic and civil issues, and any of the real crimes we would just contract out to the Michigan State Police. Because the City of Wayne, Michigan Police Department doesn't solve crimes anyways. They certainly don't solve murders or homicides or rapes or any serious crime, any felonious crime. So, but they definitely can come to your house because you violated a probation or a bond order, right? A bond order that was that's built on a deck of cards, right? That's built on fruit of the poisonous tree. But yeah, I just don't see any purpose to have those 2 departments even, in Wayne, period. So that would save taxpayers tremendous amounts of money. And then, we can have real training so we can avoid lawsuits, right? Because lawsuits are pretty easily avoidable, especially, when you conduct yourself within the lens of the Constitution, right? It's very simple, right? You conduct yourself in a way where, okay, if there's a gray area, if there's a situation that's kind of 50-50, we err in the side of the Constitution and on the side of constitutional rights. So if somebody, if we're in a situation where we're not sure, we're going to side with the Constitution. We're going to side with the resident. We're going to side with the taxpayer, right? Because if you're innocent until proven guilty, then that needs to be applied realistically, right? And there's just so many things that we can do, with training that doesn't cost a lot of money, to pull everyone into a room and say, hey, you're going to respect people's Fourth Amendment right. You're going to respect people's First Amendment right. You're going to respect all their rights. And if you don't do it, you're not going to be working for the city of Wayne. It's just that simple. But we're going to have a majority because we're going to get 4 or 5 other people to run for council as well. And then, hey, we have a majority and we can do what the fuck we want, which is get rid of these bullshit, unconstitutional, and tyrannical laws, right? They're not even laws. They're just bullshit that some idiots, some 7 idiots passed it, a year ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, some fucking idiot cucks, right? And they don't know how to read. They don't know what the Constitution is. They don't know what the vagueness doctrine is. But they're going to find out. We're going to show them. Lots of poor blacks in Wayne cook outside over open flames. The ordinance may be a problem for poor people. It's discrimination. Oh, absolutely, 100%. Well, the problem with their 2025-02 ordinance, well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because they actually passed another ordinance, 2025-01, I believe, or 2025-03. It was like a homeless ordinance, basically, a vagrancy ordinance. Like, basically, yeah, I mean, they're targeting poor people. They're targeting people that are what they consider vagrants, or, black people tend to have less money than white people. And, yeah, I mean, it's completely discrimination, without a doubt. But the problem with their ordinance is it gives the government unfettered discretion, unlimited discretion, unlimited authority. And there's no due process, right? There's no due process, and there's no safeguards that can be put in place. It's not written in this ordinance. So that ordinance is void for vagueness. And unless there is a substantial settlement, I'm talking 7 figures up to 8 figures, we're going to get that declared void for vagueness. So, that's what we're doing. Because, it basically just says, yeah, we can come on your property anyone we want, whenever we want, to check it out, to inspect it, right? And then their lawyers are going to try to argue that that's not a search or a seizure. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. So, I agree, guys. I agree 100%. City of Wayne is full of discrimination. It's full of racism. It's full of sexism, and real racism, real sexism, right? Where you're trying to put people in jail and ruin their lives. And, I don't consider like racism, like, oh, you called somebody a name, or, you said something offensive, right? Like, we all have freedom of speech, right? Sometimes we slip. Sometimes we have bad days. Sometimes we just, maybe we watched a Nick Fuentes video and then we go, damn, or we watched a fucking video, the Young Chink or the Young Turks or whatever, and you watch some propaganda. Who the fuck knows? Maybe you watch Fox News with your grandpa, and then now you're like thinking, fuck, So we don't sit here and go, oh my God, somebody said a word, they're irredeemable, oh my God. But when you put something on paper that allows the government to have unlimited, unfettered discretion, right, where they can just decide arbitrarily without any objective criteria, this has to be put out, you can't have this. Yeah, of course, that's what the vagueness doctrine is for, to prevent that. Prevent that unfettered discretion. So, we got the termination of the probation. We're going to file the appeal at the circuit court. We're going to be filing a lawsuit for several FOIAs, right? We're going to be filing a lawsuit. You'll see, guys. I got some stuff in the works for you. But we're going to go down and interview the city manager, Diane Webb. We're going to try to catch her before she leaves for the day, because I do have to ask her a few critical questions. And so we're going to take this time to end this video, and I will live stream me asking Diane Webb, the city manager. I have to ask her a few questions. We'll see if she wants to play ball or not, right? We'll see. Because lately what they've been doing is there's a bulletin board, right? So the city of Wayne doesn't want me to speak on my own private property, right? That's why the sign lawsuit exists, which, they've lost that one. Let's just be frank here. And so now they're trying to prevent me from speaking on the bulletin board, right? They have a bulletin board at City Hall. I already put up a flyer one time and they removed it. So I'm going to put it up again, and then I'm going to remind Diane Webb, if this flyer gets taken down again, you're getting sued. Everybody in the city is getting sued because you're not going to violate my First Amendment right to speak. It's not going to happen. And they said, oh, the bulletin board, it's only for internal communication only. Well, that doesn't say that. And there's other businesses that are posted. Veterans Haven, right? Well, I'm a disabled veteran, and I have a business called Disabled Vet Source. And, you know, if my information is not allowed to be displayed, well, then you can't, you know, it's equal protection under the law. It's the 14th Amendment. Either you have to not allow anybody to post, or you got to allow everybody to post. There's no in between. And so we're going to be holding tyrants accountable. It's just that simple. The days of lack of transparency, deleting. Oh, and then we're going to ask her too, who runs and operates these Facebook pages for the city website, the fire department Facebook, the police department Facebook, the DBA, Downtown Development Authority. Yeah, we want to ask, well, who's in charge of managing that, and why do they keep censoring comments that they don't like? Just kind of weird, because, you know, that's illegal as well, to alter and to censor people's speech on a public platform like that. That's illegal too. So we're going to be asking her about that, because we need to know who's responsible for these websites, who's responsible for the moderation of these websites. Because yeah, I'm going after them. Going after them 150,000 fucking percent. Now that I'm off this fake ass, bullshit ass, fuck you probation, now it's time to really dive in to the city of Wayne and figure out just what the fuck are they up to down there. Let's just figure it out. Because these people, they've never dealt with somebody who, not only am I not scared of these, I'm scared of these people in the sense that, yeah, they might come to my house one day and just kill me. They've already tried to do it 5 times. Oh, but we're going to get we're going to be filing a personal protection order against the Wayne Fire Department. That's the next thing we're doing. Because you're not going to come on my property on January 9th and say, I just want to go down into his yard just to piss him off. Well, that's harassment. That's threatening, harassing, molestation. That's intimidation. And that's illegal. That's literally the textbook definition of harassment. And the fact that that fireman who's in charge of that scene said that right in front of police officers on body camera, and the police officers did nothing about it. And then they went and violated my rights and broke into my property. Right? You can't make this shit up. And so I'm going to be getting a PPO with the circuit court. And we're going to be having some fun with them. We're having a lot of fucking fun with these people. Because these motherfuckers are going to learn what the 4th Amendment is, and they're going to learn what due process is. And if they don't want to learn it, well, then guess what? They're going to have to pay the fucking price for it. Right? Because John Zook Jr. paid the ultimate price for calling the City of Wayne Police Department asking for help, but I'm not asking for help. I'm not asking for help. I don't want help. There's nothing you guys can do to me that's going to help me. You want to know what you want to do if you want to help me? Get the fuck out of Wayne and quit violating people's rights. Simple as that. When you hold people's rights above your bullshit ordinances, then I'll have respect for you, City of Wayne. But you're obviously not going to do that. You're going to double down and triple down on your fuckery, your buffoonery. And I'm going to hold you accountable for it. I'm going to be there every step of the way, guys. I'm making it my life's fucking mission. Just like when I was in the Army and I had a mission. Well, guess what? I have a new mission. My life mission is to make your fucking illegitimate bullshit ass careers come to an end. That's my fucking mission. Because you're parasites. You are parasitic, worthless motherfuckers that don't do anything other than try to run out the clock. You're just some fat, lazy, white trash pieces of shit. And all you want to do is just keep on keeping on. Keep the status quo going. You know why? Because you're fucking fat and lazy and don't have any real skills. And you're just trying to coast until you get to retirement. That's all that is. That's all that 90% of government is. It's just an easy fake job with unlimited power and benefits. And then you get to have a retirement on top of it. That's all this shit is. It's a fucking joke. It's an insult to humanity. What it is. It's an insult to humanity. That's why I'm not taking a salary. That's why I'm running for public office. I'll never take a salary. Because it's not about money. It's not about enriching myself. It's about doing the right thing, guys. The right thing is the Constitution. The right thing is the Bill of Rights. And that's it. That's all there is. I don't recognize your bullshit ordinances. I don't recognize your bullshit policies. They're all void for vagueness. They're all illegal. And they're not going to be something that I'm going to be fucking dealing with. I'll tell you that. And I don't want this to happen to any other Wayne resident or God forbid another veteran. Like what you guys did to John Zook Jr. in June of 2024. Nope. I'll never let you forget that one. Zook Pond coming soon. We got the survey already completed. The state of Michigan has done all their paperwork. Now they're just waiting on their cheddar cheese. Don't worry, I'll put in some overtime for you, John Zook. I'll make sure your fucking pond gets constructed, and your family is always welcome. Anyone who knew John Zook Jr., anyone who was associated, affiliated with them, you are always welcome. And you will have a place where you can go, where you can worship, where you can pray, where you can be at peace. And you can remember the beautiful man that John Zook Jr. was, the beautiful father that he was. Right? Because I never knew John Zook Jr. Never had a conversation with him. But man, when they murdered him, it was like somebody murdered my brother. Because that's what he is. He's a brother in arms. You know, he put on the same uniform as I did, and he served the Constitution just like I did. And unfortunately, the city of Wayne murdered him in June of 2024. But I'm not going to let his name die. I'm not going to let John Zook die, and I'm not going to let what happened to him ever be forgotten. Ever, ever, ever. Because that's the real consequences of this incompetence, which is what the fuck this is. Malicious incompetence is what the city of Wayne is. And unfortunately for them, I'm maliciously compliant, right? Unfortunately for them, they want to be malicious and vindictive. I'm not going to be malicious, but I'll be hyper compliant with the Constitution, and I'll be by the book, textbook. And I'm not going to allow tyranny in my fucking neighborhood anymore, or in my community. And I'm not going to let some fat white joke trash fucks, right? That's what they are. Kevin Dowd, Donald Quarles, Kathy Lawrence, they're all a bunch of white trash, a bunch of pieces of shit, a bunch of worthless pieces of shit. Sat there and they fucking, I mean, you just tell by looking at them, they're all fucking morons. They're all fucking morons. None of them have ever done a damn thing for the city of Wayne. I've done more for the city of Wayne in the 2 years that I've been here than these motherfuckers have done in a lifetime. Do you think any of those fat, worthless pieces of shit could have fucking cleared out over an acre of fucking land for a pond? Do you think any of those motherfuckers know how to use a chainsaw or a fucking axe? Get the fuck out of here. Kevin Dowd, fuck you. Donald Quarles, fuck you. Kathy Lawrence, fuck you. John Racy, fuck you. Alfred Brock, fuck you. Rob Darwich, token Rob Darwich, fuck you, you fake Muslim piece of shit. Fuck all of you. Finley Carter, fuck you too. You DI hire piece of shit. That's what you are. You're a DI hire. They only made you deputy chief of police because of your skin color. That's the only reason they made you deputy chief of police. But you're an incompetent, worthless motherfucker, dude. You are a fucking... Every time you smile at me and my family, dude, we get creeped out by it. Don't ever talk to me or my family again. Don't ever talk about my children. Congratulations. Fuck you. Don't even have my children in your fucking brain as a thought. You're repulsive. You are repugnant to the Constitution. I don't even want to fucking associate with you. I don't want to be caught in the same room with you people. You're all fucking scum of the earth. Jeremy Schneider, deputy fire marshal. Yeah, fuck you too. Diane Webb, city manager. Fuck you too. Who else am I forgetting? Oh, Deborah Wise. Yeah, Deborah Wise. Snaggletooth. Yeah, fuck you too. Cunt. And Tina Parnell, resting bitch face Tina Parnell. Fuck you too. Fuck all of you. You're all criminals. You're all parasites. And your time has come into a fucking end. I don't care if it takes me 1 year. I don't care if it takes me 30 fucking years. I will get all of you worthless parasitic motherfuckers the fuck out of office. And preferably in the Wayne County Jail. That's where you all belong. Kim Worthy. Yeah, Kim Worthy. Maybe I need to go have a talk with Kim Worthy about the city of Wayne. See what she thinks about them. I'm sure she'd like to make an example out of these fat white pieces of fucking white trash shit. I'm sure they would. I'm sure a strong black woman like Kim Worthy would love to make an example out of some fat white trash like John Racy and Michael Bosnick and Carolyn Miller and all these fucking worthless pieces of shit. They're all in on it. Brito O'Leary, fuck you too, cunt. And fuck your gay ass husband and fuck anyone who's associated with you. I don't give a fuck. You guys know where I live, obviously. Fuck you. I'm getting deported. I'm not getting deported. No. No. But that's funny, though. That's funny. Let's read some of the comments. Let's read some of the comments. Robert Welsh, 1418. I am a 70-year-old resident of Wayne. Anything I can do to support your efforts, please feel free to get in touch with me. Thank you, Robert, for the support. If you could, if you have the ability to comment or email, send me an email, Jericho Flowers 81, JERICHO Flowers, FLOWERS 81 at gmail.com. Please send me a message with your contact information. I'd love to shoot shit with you, maybe have an interview with you. Low Dimes, Dearborn Heights PD tried to kill me. Not surprised by that one bit. Sorry to hear that. And great health care at the expense of the people. Yeah, absolutely. They get all the holidays off, the weekends. They get all that shit, right? Then they get that great retirement package. They get that fucking health care benefits. No. No. They don't even deserve a fucking coupon to CVS, right? A minute clinic, right? They don't even deserve that. Fuck these moms. I need a pond. For real, you do ponds. I don't do ponds. Schlick Ponds out of Montrose. They're the ones who are digging Zook Pond. Schlick Ponds. Reach out to them. They might be able to assist you. James Freeman said, it's your fault they do this to you. I haven't heard that from James Freeman. If you have any sort of proof of that, please send it my way. I'd love to take a look at it. I just got here. Why are you crashing out? You have to just rewatch the video, man. There's too much, to talk about. I got to get going anyways. But I will be back on the live stream. Nobody's time is coming to an end. No, I mean, there is, though. Like I said, there's these things called elections, and there's some people in Wayne that are pretty pissed off with their performance, right? And some of these elections only get a few hundred votes, guys, so don't take much to get these people out of office. And a lot of them will just quit natural attrition, because once those lawsuits start to come in and they got to go, and I don't think so. I don't think they want nothing to do with it, but maybe they do. Hopefully they do. Like I said, I've appreciated. It's like I have appreciation for them and I don't, right? I appreciate their stupidity and their evil malice being exposed out in the open. But man, it does get tiring. I can't lie to you. I'm going to see this live on the news, aren't I? Yeah, I mean, we got some documentaries in the work. We got some auditors and some journalists coming back to Wayne. Going to be a lot of interviews being conducted. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know about the news. Fuck the news. But, this guy getting deported next week. Yeah, it's funny. Probably. Yeah, fuck them. Yes, you will, bud. Wait and see. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I'm just letting you guys know. I don't approve of what's transpired, and I'm not too impressed. And if that's the best that you got, City of Wayne, you better start fucking counting them chickens. I'm going to be clucking, bitch. I'll be clucking my ass all the way to the bank. But it's not about money, guys. It's about the right thing. It's about the principle. It's about the Constitution. It's about law and order. It's about common decency. It's about humanity. It's about respect for property rights. But that's the system we live in, right? When the government fucks up, in this case, 5 or 6 or 7 or 9 or 10 times or a dozen times, however many it's been now. Accountability for Josh Abrams in the house. What's going on? Yeah, I won my motion to terminate probation yesterday. Pro se by myself. The judge says he was offended by the fact that the city of Wayne passed a codified open burn ordinance the day after I was released from jail. He was highly offended by that. So he says, right? So much more work to do, but no more dominion over me, though. There is no more dominion over me. City of Wayne no longer has any dominion over me. And I got to call Shannon Strobe, the probation officer, a fat cunt bitch when she walked into the courtroom, too. So I did call her a fat cunt. I said, look at this fat fucking cunt. Now we can do the hard work. Exactly my fucking point, Josh. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait to just dissect everything about the city of Wayne. From May 9th, well, really March 28th of 2024, we'll talk about that lawsuit. That's a relatively simple one compared to May 9th, 2025 and onward. But we'll get to it, guys. We'll get to all of it. You know, we'll give you a timeline and, you know, how all this went down, right? When I just went rogue all of a sudden, right? No. But now we release all the archive footage and do the next trip. I like how you're thinking, Josh. Great minds think alike, man. I like that. I knew I could count on you, man. Yeah, Josh Abrams, everybody. Accountability for all. He is in my opinion, the greatest constitutional auditor that this country has. I know some people will say Sean Paul Reyes and blah, 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 but no. Josh Abrams does it the right way, guys. And Josh Abrams does it without apology. And great guy, man. I appreciate you, Josh. I can't wait to work with you further. I can't wait to go to Massachusetts now. Now I can just get my car and go. I don't have to ask for permission from some fat bitch named Shannon Strobe. So now I can just go. I have dominion back over my life again. Thank God, right? For now. I better leave the state of Michigan before the city of Wayne falsely accuses me of another crime, right? I better be out of town when they do it. Because they're not the smartest or the brightest, right? We're not dealing with the bright ones. We're dealing with the fucking cum at the bottom of the cum dumpster. I mean, we're dealing with some real vile people, man. Yeah. No, like I said, again, thank the city of Wayne for their buffoonery and their stupidity, yes, because they are paying for a cross-country tour and some nice little documentary and some, really going to dive into what exactly is going on in Wayne and how that pertains to me and my political campaign and just my existence, really, right? You know, because the city of Wayne's clearly offended by my existence. And so we got to dive into that and really kind of dissect that and figure that out. But yeah, documentary coming soon, cross-country tour. There's so much content just on this story. Yeah, I go to City Hall. I'm going to City Hall right now, right after I end this live stream. I'm going down to City Hall to try to have a conversation with Diane Webb. I got to ask her a few questions about her censorship protocols. And most importantly, though, I'm going to stay live. But most importantly, I got to ask her about who runs the city website, who runs the City of Wayne website, the City of Wayne admin Facebook, the City of Wayne Police Department, Fire Department, who operates and moderates all of those public pages, right? Because I've noticed the City of Wayne has done quite an extensive amount of censorship to censor people from speaking about me or displaying my videos in the comments. So we need to figure out who exactly is given the authority to moderate this, and is this your policy? Is this like your protocol? Need to figure it out. So I don't suspect we're going to get too many answers, but yeah, we're going to stay live. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. I don't anticipate. Yep, names of all employees with Facebook admin access, names of all blocked accounts, and copies of every deleted comment. Well, we're going to do that, and then we're also going to file a FOIA. We got like so many FOIAs, though, we got to file lawsuits for, man, in the circuit court. We have a $251,000 FOIA, right? We have a FOIA. I submitted a FOIA for the July 5th incident, and the city of Wayne wants $251,000. $120-some thousand of a deposit or something. So, yeah. I don't anticipate we're going to get it, but we are going to be filing those lawsuits, so absolutely. We're going to be doing those FOIA lawsuits. And then once we do about 3 or 4 of them, and we win all 3 or 4 of them, I think the courts are going to start recognizing the pattern. But if they don't, I'll point it out to them. But, yeah, this shit's about to get surreal is what it's about to get. But of course, lawful. We're going to conduct ourselves lawfully and definitely not disorderly. Definitely not going to raise our voices and, just going to ask questions like any good citizen would do, right? So thank you, Josh, for tuning in. And again, everybody support accountability for all. the legend, the one and only Josh Abrams, aka, well, I can't tell you aka. I can't tell you what I call him because that would probably get me banned off YouTube. Oh, Charlie LaDuff needs to hear about the over 100. Yeah, $251,000 FOIA, I think it is. But yeah, we'll be in touch, guys. I gotta go take care of this real quick, and then I'll be back. Stay tuned. Love you guys.